Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Red Bull Tanker. This is Operation Fog of War, turn 12 for the United Kingdom. It's been quite the turn, to say the least. Highlights. I mean, the United States is still continuing to beef up its forces, keep the bridge into Europe going. They've got a decent number of they got a small group of forces here in Morocco ready to go. The big thing, the United States carried off a victory in Southern Europe, or not Southern Europe, in Southern Italy, with no losses to them, where the Germans suffered 2 artillery and a tank. So we got lucky there. Not much up here on this front. Some big news up here in Russia. A lot of trading back and forth. In all honesty, I think the Germans took a heavier hit than the Russians. So coming down here, so the Germans this turn lost 9 infantry, 5 mechanized infantry, 6 artillery, 11 tanks, and 2 fighters. The Russians lost, let's see here, 10, 15. The Russians lost 19 infantry, 8 artillery, 1 mech, 2 AA guns, and 2 tanks. Japan lost an infantry, destroyer, submarine, and a transport. The U.S. lost 2 destroyers and 3 artillery. We lost 4 infantry. The Anzacs lost a destroyer, and the French lost their last. They lost 2 more of their remaining ground forces. Let's see what else. Italy took back Transjordan. Unfortunately for us, that kind of sucks. The U.S. came down into Borneo, took that away from the Japanese. So, good on them, I guess. We know that some of these Japanese forces, I didn't quite update it, some of the Japanese forces in Eastern Persia, we know they went into Turkmenistan, and I forgot to make that note, or I forgot to update that on my board. The U.S. and the Anzacs have a decent-sized army in the Philippines, while they've consolidated their fleets off the Philippines as well against this massive Japanese fleet that is now come into being, which, I'll give you a little insight. There's 1 sub, 8 destroyers, 4 fully loaded aircraft carriers, a cruiser, and 2 battleships, plus some transports. So, pretty big naval force situated off of Malaya right there. And then the United States is continuing to prepare their forces to head into to reinforce in the Pacific. All right, going into purchases for our turn. We didn't scout, nor did we spy. So our purchases this turn were an artillery, a fighter, and a tactical bomber. Over here, the U.S. once again spent to see the purchases of the enemy. The Germans bought 7 infantry, 6 artillery, a mech, a tank, and a fighter. The Japanese bought 7 infantry, 2 artillery, a battleship, a destroyer, and a submarine. Alright, our only combat this turn was we took 6 infantry and an artillery with our tactical bomb and our strategic bomber, and we attacked Persia, which we took. We took Persia, so the Japanese now lost 4 infantry this turn. However, we did not come off scot-free. We lost 2 infantry in that attack. So we now have 4 infantry and an artillery in Persia with the 14th Army. And so then our only non-combat this turn, and this was to aid the U.S. in helping to hold southern Italy, we transported our 7 aircraft, so 4 fighters and 3 tactical bombers, we used these to help reinforce the Americans in southern Italy, while the United States was nice enough to send us 2 fighters to help us defend against a possible Italian blitz on their turn. A possible Italian blitz from their turn into Iraq. So here's to hoping that the Italians don't see that at least our air power weakened a little bit. But yeah, so that was pretty quick. And then obviously our deployments. We deployed another artillery, and we deployed our TAC and our fighter. And so we didn't get a lot this turn. I think we only got, we got 20 IPC at the end of the turn. So we were at 28 for turn 13. I mean, this turn went, I'd say this turn went really well so far for the Allies. I mean, the Russians did lose a lot in infantry, but the Germans lost way more in tanks, which just about evens out between the two. We do look forward to seeing what happens in the Pacific as far as the 2 massive enemy fleets that have built up around each other. So that'll definitely be interesting to see as things begin to develop. But so, in a nutshell, I mean, that was a pretty quick and dirty round for us. We're interested to see what Germany's going to do with the big Soviet army now sitting there in Belarus. I mean, we all figure that the enemy's going to have to attack, so it'll be interesting to see what the casualties are from that battle when they come in. But other than that, that is it for the United Kingdom's turn. So that is the end of turn 12 for the United Kingdom. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 6 more rounds to go before the game is decided. As I said in the last video, hopefully we can hold our positions and get into a position where we can say we won the game. So until then, guys, take care.